Hi, today is Friday night, May 1st. It's a holiday in my country. It's my father's birthday. I've been quarantined for over a month, and that is something that I really need to get out of my system. I can't get my head around the fact that a lot of people suicide due to major depression every year. So, do you know anybody who suffers from seasonal or even major depression? My parents do. I'm not sure if you know somebody. Unfortunately, many people couldn't care less. Now, I'm about to tell you a real story, but first, let me tell you what I've learned from this psychosomatic disease. The symptoms of depression can be complex and vary widely amongst people. If you are depressed, you may feel sad, hopeless, and lose interest in things you used to enjoy. In major depression, the most prominent symptoms are severe and persistent somber mood, unutterable sadness, or a sense of despair. The mood can sometimes appear as irascibility, or the person suffering acute depression may not be able to enjoy activities that are usually enjoyable. So, I'd say that major depression is more than just a passing blue mood, a bad day, or interim sadness, cause the symptoms of deep depression are defined as lasting at least 2 to 3 weeks, but usually they go on much longer, maybe months or even years. I also learned that a wide range of symptoms usually accompany the gloomy mood, and many people also have anxiety. They may agonize more than average about their physical health. They may have unresolved conflict in their relationships and maybe function poorly at work. Furthermore, sexual functioning may be a problem, and folks with depression are at more risk for abusing alcohol or drugs. And in that case, they certainly need help. I'd even say that depression probably involves changes in the areas of the brain that controls mood, as nerve cells may be functioning defectively in distinct regions of the brain. And this communication between nerve cells and nerve circuits can make it troublesome for a person to regulate mood. Just so you know, yesterday I read an article which states that hormone changes may also negatively affect mood, and according to Harvard's health department, an individual's life experience arouses these biological processes, and genetic makeup influences how vulnerable a person is to getting this illness. And according to this very same article, an episode of depression can be triggered by a stressful life event. But in many cases, depression does not appear to be related to a specific case, as a major depressive episode may occur just once in a person's life, or may return repeatedly. Moreover, people who present those symptoms may also have periods of persistent but milder depressed mood. On the other hand, during a major depressive episode, thinking can get out of step with reality. Thus, the person has psychotic symptoms such as delusions or false hallucinations. But even small burdens or obstacles may appear impossible to manage. The person can appear slowed down or agitated and restless. The symptoms can be quite noticeable to others. A particularly painful symptom of this illness is an unshakable feeling of worthlessness and guilt. The person may feel guilty about a specific life experience, or may feel general guilt not related to anything in particular. If pain and self-criticism become great enough, they can lead to feelings of hopelessness, self-destructive behavior, or thoughts of death and suicide. Thanks God, the vast majority of people who suffer severe depression do not attempt or commit suicide, but they're more likely to do so than people who are not depressed. So, how to recognize if a friend or family member is depressed? First, I'd check for signs of behavior, feeling, what you hear, or even physical changes. For instance, if they're no longer going out, or perhaps not getting things done at work, at school. Those could be some indicators that something is definitely wrong. Or if they're withdrawing from close family and friends, or even worse, they could be relying on alcohol and sedatives a bit too much, if you know what I mean. There are some other very easily noticeable facts, such as being always irritated or owning up that they have no interest or pleasure in life. What motivated me to make this video is that I've had this friend who, for a long time, complained of loss of energy, and in many occasions, he didn't have a good sleep and felt knackered and complained of being really annoyed and gutted about something that had happened that day, which could be pretty normal, and I took his words with a pinch of salt, you know. But the problem was that he also felt guilty and worthless, which, to me, this particular time, wasn't a normal thing to see him acting that way. The same friend had complained a few weeks before that he was suffering from migraines, churning guts, and sleeping problems, but I'm not a doctor, you see. I had no clue about a way to help him, and I just kept asking him questions such as, have you been eating properly? Have you been doing some exercise, or have had another fight with your boss during this COVID-19 pandemic? Those were not the right questions, though. With hindsight, my questions would have been different, and I could have asked him if he had seen a doctor or if he had had any sort of treatment. The reason why I've mentioned that is due to the fact that basically he started saying that everything was his fault, that he was useless or worthless, so why to leave? Was shocked, flabbergasted when said that nothing good ever happens to him and people would just be better off without him. That's when my heart raced, and even though I'm part of a mystic group that studies human behavior, I felt I wasn't ready to deal with that. Well, we never are, really. I'm just a piano player and a teacher. So, the first thing I did was listen, because I believe these wistful people need us to listen to them. Perhaps they had bottled up a lot and hadn't got an opportunity to take it off their chest. But for ethical reasons, I won't expose him on this testimonial. But I do believe that being a great listener and talking to their family could definitely make the difference. And we should all try to do something. I admit that I take some pills myself because I'm very anxious, and being a teacher isn't particularly easy, as we have to prepare dozens of lessons every week and correct a bunch of essays. At least, I managed to cut out booze 2 months ago, and I have had better sleep so far and 0 hangovers. That was a plus. So, my friend kept himself aplomb and didn't do anything silly, which is a great relief. So, if you have any comments or any similar experience to share, please, I'd be happy to know that, alright? Thank you for listening to that. Cheers. Have a great week.